moment is change in college football, but over more than 150 years, there have been some things that you can count on. If you can run the football, you have a chance to win. And boy, do we have guys who can do that in this one. Welcome to Starkville, Mississippi, home of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. As we'll see, the number 23 team in the country, the Texas Longhorns, taking on another SEC rival, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. Mississippi State ready to kick off to get this game started. And he takes this from inside the 5. Not a whole lot of room to operate on that return as the coverage unit was there and ready. The Longhorns offense will get the football first. We have got a tremendous matchup between these two running backs, both stars in their own right, and David, both ready to make a huge impact.
I mean, how fun is it to have two guys, one on each side, when they have the football, like they can go the distance. Just dynamic speed, great vision. These defenses are in trouble because these guys can touch it a bunch of different ways, and Palmer, they can hit home runs from anywhere on the field.
And I think what makes them really unique too, David, is that they're very versatile guys. Both guys can run between the tackle box, they can take it outside, they can both catch the football as well. So no doubt the game plan for both offenses, feed the running back as many different ways as possible and just let him go to work.
This crowd trying to make life miserable for this offense. Leaves it with the running back. Out across the 20 to the 21-yard line, a 3-yard gain. You know what they need, you know what they want, and you know what they deliver on third down. More cowbell. Back to pass, it's Manning. Under fire. Trying to escape and get it himself. He gets the job done, picking up the first down, then getting down.
And on the third play of the drive, third down, it's the scrambling ability of this quarterback that goes and picks up the first down. He was so calm back there. He never got flustered. Nobody open, no problem. If you give this guy 1 yard to run, he's going to tuck it and take off, and that's exactly what happened there.
Use the play fake, now to throw. Just a short pass to the tight end. Tackled at the 43 after picking up 10. Guys, the levels of hype and impatience awaiting the arrival of Arch Manning pretty much unsustainable over the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers was pretty doggone good. But Arch is pretty deserving of all of this attention, I'd say, Jesse.
He's very, very talented. That jumps off the film when you watch him. You can see why he was so highly regarded coming out of high school. You can see why Texas fans are so impatient to finally watch what he does this year. Now, it's one thing to do it against Louisiana Monroe. It's one thing to do it against UTSA and Mississippi State. Can he do it against the Georgias? Can he do it against the big boys in the SEC on a consistent basis? We can't wait to find out.
So now it's second and long. Grab behind the line. It's Wingo. The defense wouldn't let him loose, and even though it's a completion, they lost yardage. Some third down conversions tougher than others. This one a long one on third down from the 43. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the wideout. Makes the grab. They'll move the chains. Good execution on third down. They've got it at the 41.
When you're a playmaker like this guy is, your coaches are going to dial up plays intended for you, especially on third down. That's what you saw in that last play. There was no question where the quarterback was going with that football. All week long, they decided on the biggest downs of this game, we're going to target our best player, and we're going to make sure that he gets looks. It doesn't matter what the coverage is, and you saw it right there on that play.
Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out.
too often. The quarterback, man, he was licking his chops. He saw a big space in the middle of the field. He had his best receiver there ready to make a play, and he dropped it.
Ninth play of the drive coming up, but they'll have to convert 3rd and long to keep it going. Looking to pass. It's Manning. Throws to the tight end. This time it's complete. Working their way closer and closer. A 3rd down conversion, and they've got it at the 26. As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. Defense has dominated the early part of this game, and the stats point that out emphatically. Sometimes you see the offenses sort of settle in, find areas to probe after that first quarter. First play of the period, first down here. To the ground with the back. Stop is made, but he picks up 4 yards down to the 21-yard line.
And that's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down and the defense thinks you might be running the football, you still can line up. You can get some movement at the point of attack and find a little crease for your running back.
After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6. Grabbed in the backfield. It's Moore. And he's almost to that first down marker there, saying he's a little bit short. They might want to bring out the sticks and measure, but it looks as if he'll be just short of the first down. This crowd knows this defense needs them right now. He'll sneak it and try to surge forward.
And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
And the Longhorns, once backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, have put quite a drive together. From the gun, give on the inside. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
Yeah, they're just going to need more push up front. There was nowhere for that running back to go. The offensive line got moved right back into his lap, and as a result, they lose yards on that play.
After losing yardage, it's 2nd and 12. Back to throw, it's Manning. He makes a grab, and he was dying to push his way in there, but he's knocked down at the 3.
Well, it wasn't a great start for this quarterback, but on this drive, he seems to be turning the corner. He just looks like he's playing in a different rhythm. He's seeing the field better. It's almost as if the game is starting to slow down for him. And I think on that last completion, it was a good example of that.
And the Longhorns have it with a 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
And how about the defense on that play, man? Playing aggressive, fast, downhill, 1st and goal, expecting run. Great job fitting the run. Great job getting the running back on the ground.
Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. Can the D deny them on 2nd and goal? Wide receiver comes in motion. They'll run play action. Caught behind the line. It's Wingo. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page.
That's just a tremendous individual effort by the defender. He's able to defeat his block and get to the ball and get the ball down on the ground. Very, very nice job.
Wants to throw for it on 3rd and goal. Touchdown, Texas! And they have the first point of the game.
You talk about ball control offense. This offense just held the ball for the whole first quarter and then some. Strung a drive together, making the great plays when they needed them. That's a great opening statement from this offense.
Getting set for the extra point after putting the scoreboard to work for the first time. And the extra point is good, and it's 7-0. Well, that was about as lengthy a drive as you're ever going to see. And they close the deal with the 7-yarder for the score. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. On the move from inside his 5. And the coverage team gets the returner on the ground. So the Mississippi State Bulldogs offense will go to work for the first time. And they're going to have to contend with a secondary that is one of the best in the nation, Jesse.
And they're a complete secondary, too. When you watch them on film, they're very good defending the pass and coverage, and they can play man and zone. But I like them, David, because they're not afraid to put their face in the fan. Everybody in the back end likes to tackle and likes to be physical. That's what makes them special.
Yeah, and it's just an elite group in the back end. Multiple guys that win their individual matchups, which makes it hard to run offense. And this is a group that, yes, they tackle well, they see the football well, they break on it well. You better worry about the ground game. You better get some kind of deception going against this secondary.
Looking to throw, it's Shapen. Snagged in the middle, it's Traore. Now they've got even more breathing room out to the 31 and a fresh set of downs.
Great job by the offense. Listen, if the defense is going to sit back in zone, you know what you got to do. Run those crossers across the formation. Those guys that are looking at the quarterback, they're not trying to pick up receivers all the time. Make those precise throws, right in those holes, get those first downs, get those big chunks.
That's caught. It's Mosley. Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
They send 4 receivers onto the field, 2 to the right, 2 to the left on 2nd and 6. Back to throw, and they've got to be aware of the clock. Grab near the marker. It's Traore. There's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half. Mississippi State comes out after picking up the first down. Looking to throw on first down. Back open in the middle. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
And if nothing else, a notable first half so far in Starkville. And a lot of coaches will say limiting the big plays and maybe hitting on a few yourself is key. But I'm more of a move the chains guy. Give me efficiency every day of the week and twice on Saturday. The offensive unit that subscribes to the less is more philosophy might be the one that leaves here today with a big fat W. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas at Davis-Wade Stadium.
The Longhorns will kick it away to start the second half. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. And the returner will be knocked down. The Mississippi State offense headed back to the field to go to work. Tight game as we start the third quarter, and we'll see what type of adjustments they made at halftime.
And getting the ball first here, I think, is such a big deal. Like, I get the first chance to make a statement, to make the adjustments, to create some momentum for my squad right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think it's so important for this offense to set the tone here early in the second half, to get a nice drive going, build that confidence, and get your defense ready to come on out, get a stop, and change the complexity of this game.
Back to throw, it's Shapen. Just gets rid of it to the running back underneath. Nice gain on that play, but leaves it a little short of the first down.
Listen, running backs are not just running backs anymore. You're going to be a wide receiver in today's football. And a great job sneaking out of the backfield, getting him the football, letting him get some positive yards.
The Bulldogs come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. From the gun, the running back tries to hit the hole. It'll be a first down as he gets it to the 24-yard line. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. To the air on first down. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
And we need more of this from this defense, man. They have let this guy have too much time to throw the football. They haven't gotten that jersey dirty yet, haven't sacked him. But this is just as good as a sack. Getting to him, hitting him, letting him feel the physicality of this game, and not letting him feel comfortable.
Trying play action. Looking to the big tight end. Complete to the left. And they'll pick up the first down and mark it at the 47.
Well, the offense is trying to make it look like runs, so they play fake, and the tight end, he comes right out of his stance, vertical downfield, gets one-on-one with a much smaller DB, and is able to make the catch for a big gain.
And the Bulldogs are moving quickly down the field. From the gun, he leaves it with the back. Gets it past the marker. Gets it all the way down to the 39-yard line. It'll be a first down.
You're down. Obviously, at the half, you had a conversation. We got to come out and put points on the board. And, Jesse, it looks like they're going to start with the ground game.
And I love this, David, too. Regardless of whether they're losing or they're winning, come out here and try to be the most physical unit here in the second half. Get this run game established.
He'll do it himself. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
I just love the individual one-on-one effort by the defense there. Offense trying to go option, QB keeps it, but just too many defenders winning their one-on-one battles, defeating blocks, and getting the tackle for loss.
Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Gonna run it. It's Booth. He's gonna lose a yard on that one.
I'll tell you, this defensive end, not only can he pass rush, but he can play the run as well. You see him beat the offensive lineman there trying to block him and get in the backfield to make that tackle for loss. That was impressive.
This will be the 8th play of the drive, but a great opportunity for the defense to get off the field. To the air, it's Shapen. Deep shot for the end zone. And swatted down by the defense to stop the scoring opportunity.
This offense has had some struggles early in this game so far. They're just trying to get something going, and so you take a shot. You try to find your best one-on-one matchup and see if they can make a play. The defense was ready for it. Good coverage on the back end. They look very prepared. All 11 guys on defense right now playing together as one.
And nobody able to handle that punt. They'll let it bounce and roll out of bounds. Opening play of this drive comes from the 13-yard line. Touch pass on the jet sweep. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
Well, and on these little push passes, timing is so important. You're trying to snap it right as he's getting a full head of steam. When he gets the ball, he's hitting the outside, and David, it puts the defense in such a difficult spot.
You immediately have to be rotating when you see that motion, so everybody's got to communicate and kind of bump over. That's why offenses love to run it. It makes the defense communicate and see if you can just get him out of a spot.
They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
Yeah, and you see running backs in today's football, they play a wide receiver basically for you, but you got to find a guy that you can throw it to, and you know he's going to catch the ball consistently.
If you didn't have a headache before, you've got one on the way. The cowbell's ringing on this third down in Starkville. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead. They're sitting in a strong position here with the lead. Let's take a look at our game summary. Not only is the scoreboard on their side, but so too is time as we open the fourth. Final stands in the game, and we'll start with the first down. Use the play fake, now to throw. Finds his man, it's Moore. All the way out to the 38-yard line, it's a gain of 15.
I think most offenses around the country in a situation like this with the lead late would be trying to run the football, right, or throw it short and try to bleed the clock. But this offense, man, it's still pedal to the metal. They're looking for chunk play opportunities.
The Longhorns come to the line with a new set of downs. He finds a dead spot in the middle. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down.
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
From the 47-yard line on 1st and 10. Motion from the wide receiver. Caught in the backfield, it's Wingo. The defense will converge, and out of bounds he goes at the 40.
I love an offense that wants to stay aggressive. Even when you've got the lead late in a game like this, right, you still try to find your playmakers and get them the ball in space, and that is exactly what this offense is doing.
The Longhorns can really attack on this 2nd and short. Got it behind the line. It's Wingo. Ripping off a good chunk inside the 25, and they're set up with a first down. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. And the Longhorns back to the line on 1st down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. They're there to stop him at the 21 after a pickup of 2. Quick timeout called by the defense, stopping the clock to save as much time as possible for their offense. After picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. Wide receiver going in motion. The RPO, it's complete. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. This crowd knows when to bring it. Pulls and fires complete. They bring him down, but he's got a 1st and goal from the 10.
And you just get the feeling that this defense has to find a way to get off the field and get the football back at this juncture of the game, trailing late if they're going to win.
So this offense with an opportunity to put this game in a hammerlock if they can score and bleed the clock. And the Longhorns have it in scoring position on 1st and goal. Quarterback's just going to take a knee.
And this situation here on 2nd down is the exact situation this offense wanted to stay out of. You got the lead late in the ball game. You want to get positive yards, keep that clock ticking. Now in a situation, it's interesting. Do they want to throw the football? How much do they trust their quarterback not to make a mistake here late in the football game with the lead?
Dropping back, it's Manning. Lets it fly. And he reels it in for a touchdown, and that just might seal it.
And, you know, late in the games, offenses sometimes get conservative when they got the lead and they got the ball. I love this offense. They were aggressive. They got another score added to the lead. Now you're trying to salt this game away.
Ready to try the point after. And the extra point is true, and they have a 2-touchdown lead, up 14 in the 4th. They put it in the end zone with a 12-play scoring drive. And they finish it off by connecting from 10 yards out. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. He'll start the return inside his 5. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. Opening play of this drive will come from their own 23. Finds his tight end. At the 35, he's loose. Across the 40 out of bounds and the 41, and a big pickup has this offense on the move.
Well, this offense has not put their best product on the field today. They've got no points to show for any of their efforts so far, but they've still got a chance. But if it's going to happen, it has to happen now in this 2-minute situation. This is where their playmakers need to step up.
Looking to throw on first down. A little screen to the running back. Crosses the 45, out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and a solid play there.
Love the execution there on the screen. The running back shows pass protect, last second turns around, so he's able to get the ball. The D linemen have already run past him. Now he can turn upfield for a big gainer.
The Bulldogs with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Back to pass, it's Shapen. Right on the money. He's out of bounds, and they'll say he got it to the 45.
Well, this offense has a ton of work left ahead of them here in this 2-minute situation late in the game, but the drive off to a good start. You get the first down, you get out of bounds, you work in the perimeter of the field. That is exactly what you want to do.
Mississippi State to the line with a fresh set of downs. Motion from the back. Wants to go up top on first down. That's caught. It's Williams.
And defensively, this is exactly what you want, right? You got the big lead, so you can play big zone coverages. Just keep the ball in front of you. Keep your eye on the quarterback. Rally to the football. Gang tackle. And you're going to win this game.
And the Bulldogs in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Wants to go up top. He unleashes a long one. A sensational grab down the field there as they try to at least put a positive spin on the end of this game.
Finally, the offense is able to come up with a big play. Where has that been all game long? I mean, a goose egg right now on the scoreboard. You just got to wonder, though, is it just too little too late?
They'll send the tight end in motion. Off the play fake on first down. Throw into the end zone, and it's picked off. Past the 50. Inside the 30. Past the 10. Touchdown, Longhorns! This defense making a big play and putting it in the end zone.